Only about 1% of babies are born with a heart defect, but if it happens to your child, surgery may be required. To wrap up Heart Awareness Month, News 18's Elizabeth Rentschler takes a look at the heart defects among children and shares her own personal journey in our next Eye on Kids segment.
I've had the privilege of working at WLFI for the last year, but it wasn't always my dream I was fighting for. At one point, I was simply fighting for my life. I was born in April of 1988 with a heart murmur. When I was just 6 weeks old, the doctor told my parents something no parent ever wants to hear. I had ventricular septal defect.
A ventricular septal defect, or a VSD as we often call it, is a defect in the partition between the right and left lower pumping chambers of the heart.
The defect left me tired, out of breath, and underweight. Pediatric cardiologist Dr. Sanjay Parikh says VSD is one of the most common defects among babies, but he says only about 1% of babies are actually born with a heart defect.
Not all of them will need treatment for that heart condition during the lifetime. About half to two-thirds of that 1%, which means about 2 out of 300 children will need some kind of treatment for the heart condition they were born with.
I was one of those too. My open heart surgery took about 4 hours. Parikh says modern medicine has made some surgeries less invasive, but overall, he says the principle behind the surgery remains the same.
There have been some changes in the intraoperative techniques, in the type of equipment that is used by the surgeon, or in the techniques that are used to stop the heart, but the basic principles have not changed in the last 50 years.
Parikh says there is no real reason why some babies are born with heart defects and says it can't be prevented. But he says teaching them healthy eating habits early on can prevent them from developing other heart problems later in life.
How healthy you will be when you are 30 or 40 years old depends on how healthy you are when you are 3 or 4 years old. In other words, healthy heart habits have to start very early in life.
Parikh says doing so will allow them to get one step closer to achieving their dream, like me. Elizabeth Rentschler, News 18.
And for more information on heart defects in children, head to our website at WLFI.com, click on the Community tab, and then Eye on Kids.
WLFI's Eye on Kids is presented by Alcoa, Wabash National, Nan Shan, and Franciscan St. Elizabeth Health.